Hi everybody, this is Kimberly from Starfish Designs again. I so apologize, the first part of the video got cut off. I didn't realize when I got a phone call it disconnected the video. So I've set the phone on do not disturb mode now. I am not going to be able to redo that video. I apologize, it only got through the first pocket. But follow the PDF, the instructions are quite sufficient. I just wanted to point out what I was demonstrating in the video. After I sewed the tab, I trimmed about 1/4 inch to 1/8 of an inch, but then I notched around the fold. So I'm going to try and turn this. It's really hard to turn these small ones, and I did not use vinyl. Vinyl is doable. I've done it twice now in my failed attempts. The tab was okay, but it's just not as well. Is not as nice. So if you use cloth for the whole thing, it's great. You could use a piece of quilted fabric for the exterior and it'll be great. It does look a little bit disjointed using a cloth tab on the vinyl exterior, but I'm just going with it. It's cute fabric, so it'll work it. So I have my tab that I'm going to try and quickly turn while this is stitching. I have my pockets. This is the one you missed on the video before that broke, but it's just a card slot pocket, and I just demonstrated after you add this pocket you can go ahead and grade some of the fabric out, trim some of the fabric out. There's my business card slash there's room in here for another card pocket. I have my zipper end tabs, my D-ring connector, my zipper pouch fabric that is not stabilized. Everything else is interfaced. I have my lining, my exterior with the snap tab already on it, and my zipper that I just dropped on the floor. I'm going to go for a punch of color and use this pretty green zipper. So let me move this stuff out of the way. Lay it in the order that I need it, I hope. I'm going to put this right here because I always lose the D-ring connector somehow. Let's see. I'm going to put it right here on the table. I won't lose it there. Okay, what I've already done is I've already gone ahead and stitched out all of my placement lines for the zipper, my middle marks that we need later, and this is the end of the zipper pocket. I want you to turn this over and extend the top and bottom zipper so you'll see it from the back, and also on the front and back extend the front and then draw this line on the back so you can see it. You can usually, if you're using a different color thread, it's fine, but these matter later, and it doesn't need to be perfectly even. You can use a ruler if you want. I'm just eyeballing it on the back. Actually, I don't think we need the center lines marked on the back, but that's okay. We do need the center lines marked on the front. So I left them shorter because there are some people who don't have a 12-inch hoop. Their hoop is 11 inches, and this pattern will actually go for those folks. So I had to make sure not to extend the centering lines past that point, else it would make the file too large. Okay. We're going to go ahead and add our zipper. This is going to be a little bit strange for you guys. If you're used to other in the hoop projects, we usually don't tack down our zipper. And I have it backwards. Sorry. I'm actually going to write, I get confused. I'm going to put top on here so I remember. With these multi-needle 8x12, the spring is on the same place, so it's easy to turn them around and get them around the wrong way. I don't want to waste as much of the zipper as I can, so I'm going to try and get it close here. Now, this zipper worked out perfect. It's even in the center. I did get some zippers from Amazon that are only about 3/4 inch to 7/8 inch wide. And so those I had to be a little bit tricky to get them centered in the stitch lines. Your stitch line, your zipper should center right in those lines. Unlike other in the hoop projects where we don't generally stitch the zipper down. We're going to use zipper ends on ours, so we do need to stitch it down ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and run the first stitch down, tack down for the zipper. I got that beginning off a little bit. It's okay though, this zipper tab is going to cover it up, so I think the rest of it's even. If you do not want to go through these extra steps of adding the fabric for the zipper tabs, you can skip that. In that case, you would want to skip, let's see, it'll be steps 3, 4, and 5. So if you skip the next 3 steps, if you don't want to use the zipper pulls. Or, I'm sorry, I said zipper pulls, the zipper ends. Okay, so, I got too much tape in there. Doggone it. This pink one doesn't come out as well if it gets stuck in there, if you stitch over it, as some of the other ones. But that's going to get covered up, so I'm not worrying about it. So you see how I got a little bit off here and here. I'm not worrying about that. The zipper tabs are going to cover that up. So unlike other projects, we're going to unzip our zipper now. You're like, unzip our zipper now? No. Yes, we're going to unzip our zipper. Move your zipper pull to the middle, and we're going to stitch the tack down, or the placement for the zipper pulls. And I'm going to use the bolder color so you can see it. Let's see, I'll use that bluish color. But why would you want to skip the zipper ends? It just makes the bag look better. And I think that when the zipper goes all the way to the edge of the wallet, it just looks weird. And especially with these bags, they don't tend to, you don't have the same construction as a regular bag, or a wallet in this case. I'm still working on my little tab here. I hope I can get it turned in time. Okay, so I went ahead and used this color so you can see it. We're going to go ahead and take our little zipper ends, and we're going to fold them in half. Right sides out, wrong sides together. And then we're going to line up the fold with that placement line so it just covers it. And we're going to tape this down. But we're going to tape it down opened, I should have said. So we're going to line up the fold with that placement line, open it up, and tape it down. Oh, I don't want to tape that right there. It's going to get... Sorry. Don't tape it on the fold. You might want to use 4 pieces of tape so that it doesn't move when you're stitching it. Alright, so again, I've made a crease mark here by folding it in half. That fold is going to go right on this line, and you're going to tape it down. This is slightly wider than the zipper, so just center it as best as you can. Alright, now we're going to do the tack down. Had to make sure the recording was still working. Can't believe it's been 10 minutes already. All right. Now's the time, if you want, you can go ahead and trim off the extra zipper, because we don't need it. It's going to get trimmed off later anyway. All right, now fold these back on themselves. Finger crease if you want. And go ahead and reapply the tape so it does not budge when you're doing the top stitching. And I'm using colors so you can see it well. When you're doing this, you're going to use the colors that match your zipper and your fabric. I don't have green on here, so I'm going to use white for the top stitching. And this is just top stitching. It just adds a little bit more to it. Oh. Apparently I'm using purple. Whatever. I'll go with it. I meant to hit white. There you go. Oh, that kind of got a little funky. I don't know what happened there. So now we're going to remove our tape. Now we're going to get back to the classic flipper zipper in the hoop bags that you're used to. We're going to take one of our pocket fabrics, and we're going to make this pretty side down, and we're going to line it up with the bottom of the zipper. You can fold this in half and make sure it's eyeball the centering if you want. You shouldn't really have to, but you can if you want. Just to make sure you can eyeball it and make sure it's in the center. Alright, and then we're going to tape this down. Now, because we're not doing any major embroidery on these pockets or on the body, you actually can use some pins for this one. I'll show you that in a minute because I will use them to help hold it in place. Alright, so that's down, and then we're going to take our bottom lining, which is the shorter 5-inch one, and we're going to tape that pretty side down as well. Again, you can go ahead and center it and fold it in half and find the center mark and make sure you're lined up in the center. Make sure it's in line with the top of your zipper placement. So remember that your zipper tabs were a little bit wider, so don't line it up with the zipper tabs, line it up with the zipper. In this case, it worked out well because the zipper was exactly 1 inch. But as I mentioned, I got those one zippers from Amazon that were not. So if you had lined it up with the zipper tape, it wouldn't be right. All right, return this to the machine. We're going to run the next step. Also, do a quick look down and make sure that nothing got stuck under there. My stabilizer is a little too wide and it's getting stuck underneath. Make sure that's even. It is. I'm going to use white for all the rest of the steps, so it won't show as much to you, but I don't want the thread to show underneath my wallet. I forgot to tell you a step. I'll show you on the next one. Okay, it worked out okay on mine. The zipper pull's right there. My foot was able to get around it. It may not on yours. So what you need to do, I'll show you when we flip this around. Let's turn this over. You need to stop halfway through and move the zipper pull. I'm going to go ahead and finger press the zipper pocket here and put the tape back down here. That's all. And then I'm going to fold this down, and it's going to do the top stitch now. So I got lucky this time. If I had had a wider zipper pull, though, I wouldn't have. But your machine may not. And this is the point where I mentioned you could use a pin if you wanted to. So I'm going to pull this, leave it in the middle. Where's it? It's going to start down here. I'm going to pull it down here, out of the way, because it's going to start down here to do the top stitching. And then halfway through, I'm going to stop and move the zipper down to the other end. And if you have these long tweezers, it helps a lot. Okay. Stop. Put those in that little zipper hook. And again, my machine would have gone through it, past it, fine. Yours may not, so don't take a chance. Move it out of the way. Ah! Of course, mine is knife stuck. So you're going to do that for these 4 steps of putting down your pocket. All right. So we're going to go around to the back, and we're going to put the other piece of the zipper pocket. And this time we're going to line it up the opposite way with the top of the zipper. Now, I am not going to flip this back up again like you usually do in a new project. So you can just tape this down and you're set to go. But I do want to tell you, in my experience, these corners tend to flip up. So make sure you put some tape right here on the corners. And I'm going to put a piece in the middle. And this is not going to move again after this. We're not folding this up, so we can just leave it down there for the next 2 steps. Okay. Now we're going to get our top pocket, right side down, and line it up. Again, you can fold it if you want and make sure it's centered. And fold it up, and you actually have this other piece to compare it to. And make sure it comes in line with the top of the zipper. And because I didn't place it right the first time, I can actually see that original placement line. So again, it's not going to be in line with the zipper tabs. I'm only going to type just a small piece there because we're going to have to move this, pull the flap up to move the zipper pull out of the way. Okay, so we're going to start down here now. And halfway through, the zipper pull is right here. I'm going to stop it and move the zipper pull. Okay, so lift up the fabric gently. Move your zipper pull down to the other end. And then make sure your fabric is still lined up. Put another piece of tape down if you need to. tape. Fold this up. And again, make sure this is against a firm surface. I forgot to mention it. And finger press this open. Make sure it's against a firm surface because you do not want to tear your stabilizer. Again, we're not going to do anything with the back. And here's where if you want to, you can pin it. I'm actually not going to pin it because I don't think it needs it. And also we have to pull the zipper pull out of the way halfway through. So the zipper pull is, zipper pull is down here. We're going to start here. We're going to stop halfway through, pull the zipper pull back. I'm sorry. Did you notice it flipped up and you didn't tell me? Okay. We're doing the top stitching, so we need it. So like I said, my experience, the top stitching is fine. I don't have any trouble with the top stitching with the zipper pull, but I'm showing you because you might. So we want the practice to be to stop it halfway through and move the zipper pull. And I happen to like purple and green together, so I hope you do too. This is the problem when you get the cheaper zippers. These are from Amazon, the bulk ones, and they're not as good as the better brand ones. All right, there we go. Don't do what I just did and have your finger in there when the needle's gone. Now we're going to pull this one up and out of the way for now. And this is where you can get a pin if you want and put in there to keep it down. And we're going to turn it over. And see that line there? We're going to fold down our pockets, fold up or fold down, so that it meets that. You can go ahead and get rid of this tape now. So we want to meet that line. By doing this now, when you go to seam this together later, you'll have a seam already folded back there, and it'll be easy to either hand stitch, machine stitch, or glue stitch the zipper pocket closed. Because, as I mentioned, or maybe I didn't mention, we are going to be turning this bag, this wallet, through the zipper pocket. Okay, so I'm going to lightly finger press, and you can make sure that the fabric is even on the sides, and you know that it's right. Okay, and then fold this one. We're going to fold the seam up on this one, and I made a little boo-boo there. This is a little bit tight, but I want it to be the same, so I didn't fold that up enough. So that's okay, we're going to just wing it. It needs to be just slightly above the line. So I only have about a 1/4 inch here, and I have about a 1/2 inch on the other side. Okay. Now this is a little bit more awkward to keep that fold up while we do the next step. So I'm going to use some tape along that folded line. And hopefully they'll stay down out of the way while we stitch. I'll hold this up in a minute and show it to you. Sorry about the dog barking. I hope she doesn't sound real loud on the tape. We have a Beagle Shepherd mix, and she does not think anybody has a right to go by our house. Okay, again, so we have this stitch out of the way. This is taped down, folded up. And now we're going to stitch our zipper pocket together. Well, it's almost time for the tab, and I'm not even done turning it yet. And if you guys have done my card pocket wallet, you already know how to do this. It's the same exact concept. Okay, so now we're going to trim away the extra from the zipper pocket. And see, my tape came out. Oh, I hate when that happens. And I didn't fold this up enough, so the folded part didn't get caught in the tape. That's okay. So I'm just going to trim away this extra fabric about a generous 1/4 inch, or maybe I should say a stingy 1/4 inch. So it's somewhere between a 1/4 inch and 3/16 of an inch. The bottom line is you don't want fabric over here in the stitching area. And see, I didn't trim that enough there. But over here it's good. Because if there's fabric there, it's going to get caught up in the final assembly, and you won't be able to turn it. I mean, you still will be able to because the zipper's open, but it'll be much harder than it needs to be. Okay. Now it's time to put the pocket down. So we're going to go ahead and lay that back down and put our placement lines for the pocket. And I'm actually going to use white so you can see them. And I'm going to put the zipper in the middle so it's out of our way. I'm still working on turning the tab. You wondered what I'm doing over here. Almost done. Okay, so now I've put the placement marks for the pockets, the card holder or the card slots, and the business card. Sorry, I'm almost there with this tab. I just want to hurry up and finish it because it's almost to that step. We're almost there and I need to get it done. And I want to give it a quick press with the iron before we get there. All right, yay, I got it. And hopefully it's even. I don't think it is, but that's okay. All right, so into our pockets. See the white marks? Again, you're going to use fabric, a color that matches. Top are the credit card pocket. Bottom is this. And you should still have your crease from earlier when you made these. I went ahead and put a pen there so you can see it better. And we're going to go ahead and line up so that these just cover our tick marks and make sure that we are centered down here. And you see how I even drew that center mark? It still wasn't enough. So I need to draw it even longer. I still can't see it. Let's do the same down here. You really want to make sure these are centered, because if they're not centered, then your credit card slots are not going to work. Okay. And then you can pin or tape these in place. Alright, that one's done. The weight of it really kind of holds it in place, but every machine is different and it could wiggle it free when it's the vibration, so don't take a chance. Tape it down. This looks a little bit off for some reason. All right. Tape is a lot cheaper than all the materials you will have lost if this doesn't work right. And your actual card slots are have a center mark with the divider line there, so you have that to use too. But I'm just going to double check anyway, make sure. Yep, I'm all centered. My original pattern had the D-ring connector, so it was just above the zipper. The fold, the halfway mark of the wallet is actually above the zipper, so it was there, but I changed it. It makes it a little bit more bulky, but I didn't like how it made the wallet. So when we get to that step, I'll show you, but it may be a little bit thick, especially if you use vinyl. I'm going to go give my tab a quick press. Sorry, my iron fell asleep. You know how that is. But you really need to press this. And I would even top stitch it. But I'm not top stitching it because you guys may not have a sewing machine. Okay. So there we go. So see how smooth that is because we did that notching. Okay. So let's see, what step are we now? Okay, the next two steps are for the fold over elastic. I've chosen not to do that on this particular one, but it's just like the card holder one. If you've done that, if it's not rocket science. You stitch the placement, the next one, put your fold over elastic on, just like it's actually in the instructions, and then do the tack down stitch. You can move all this tape now. So we're going to skip that step. I'm going to skip the tack down step, and we're going to go to the placement for the left tab. I'm going to use dark color so you can see it. I put placements in there for left and right tab. You can do just one of them, or you can do both of them if you want to be able to put a crossbody strap on it. I am only doing one. Well, that didn't show up very well, but right there it is. So I'm going to center my tab, my D-ring. Not my tab. I'm like, what? My tab. I'm going to center my T-ring over that. How I made the D-ring a generous length. How much you want showing really is your personal comfort. My machine can get through all these layers. If yours can't, then I would make the D-ring connector a little bit longer. So I'm actually going to put mine right about there. So it's got about a 1/2 inch in between it and the where the final seam will be. See? And tape that down. And it should be, I'm going to actually put a pin through this so I can show you. We want the top of this D-ring connector to be above at the same place as our original zipper line, which is right here. It's not, but it's okay. It needs to be under there. So it needs to be under. See, there's the original zipper line. This needs to be underneath that. So I'm going to make sure I got it over the stitches again since I was moving it. Okay. It's such a small, it's only 3/4 inches, so it's actually kind of hard to see it. But make sure it's in there, make sure it's straight. And then we're going to baste that down. It'll get pulled in stronger with the final assembly. Oh, you guys might be seeing my horrible hair right now. I just have to remember which way I put the tab down. I've forgotten. Okay, the tab goes with the magnetic part down. Again, the next 2 steps are for the right side D-ring strap connector, which we are not doing, so we're going to skip those. Now we're going to do the placement for the tab. Oh, I did it in the same color as before. I'm going to draw a line there because I was smart enough to use the same color as before so you can see it. Okay, so right there, it's going to get centered on there. And in fact, it should be centered on your credit card divider. Sorry, I dropped it. So I'm going to fold that in half and get a crease mark. Now, a moment about this. I made the tab so it's long enough. You need to think about how wide of a wallet you're going to have, how much stuff you're going to put it in, so you can put this all the way right here. So it's 1/4 inch above that line. This is going to be the final stitch line. And it's going to be wider. You'll have more room. Or you can make it a little bit taller. I'm going to center mine with this pocket here. But however thick you plan to put your wallet is where you want that length to be. I'm actually going to put mine, because I'm going to use mine for my iPhone. So I'm going to measure it so it's about, let's see, 3/8 of an inch above the placement line. Make sure it's centered. And this has a tendency to slip when it's stitching, so I'm putting 2 pieces of tape on it. We don't want it to get conked off kilter. Hey, we are almost there. Oh, my stitch line did not start where I expected it to start. That's okay. As long as you center it, that's all that matters. So, see, it's not, that's okay. It's going to get stitched down in the next one. As long as it's centered, you should be good. I believe it is. Okay, all this tape out of the way now. On my D-ring, I did get it a little kilter. All right, let's make sure the zipper pull is in the center. We're going to get our seam ripper, and we're going to just very carefully opened up our zipper a little bit. You see that? And very carefully put a little slit in the stabilizer because it'll make it easier when we go to turn it. But don't too much. You don't want to tear your zipper pocket. And of course, I'm using my Embroidery. This is the Hint of Lilac promo. I have marked the centering marks on it. I put the magnetic clasp according to the instructions. And this is where it gets a little tricky because you may not be able to see the side center marks. The middle centering marks need to line up with the top placement of the zipper. So you can kind of see the zipper underneath it, so you can line it up that way. If you can't, use a pin and push it down and center it up. So line up the bottom here so it's lined up with that. Usually I can get more uses out of my tape. Oh, and I didn't show you. I've already made sure it's lined up with the center there, the zipper. So I've lined up my centering mark there with the center here. Right there's the zipper, and I'm lined up the top of this with the top of the zipper. If you can't see yours, use a pin. And then down here, I'm going to make sure that's lined up with the center as well. And tape it down really well because it's bulky. And you don't want it to come loose while it's doing this. And you see how I have now flipped this around, and if I hadn't wrote top on it, I might put this on and put it in the wrong place. It probably would be okay at this point because this is the last step. And it's pretty much the same top and bottom, but you just never know. So I'm going to make sure that I put this down and flip it around because there's where my top is at. Well, you can't see it from this side. But you can tell the zipper pocket goes on the bottom. So there we go. I've got it all taped. And now we're going to run step 21. You're going to notice there is a step 22. That step is not meant to run. That step is simply there to keep your machine from going back to the center. This zipper pull is right here. Your machine could get stuck on it. So final stitch. Oh, let me make sure I use the right color. I'm not going to fully turn this for you. I'm going to get it started just so you can see. And I can see it's already getting puffy. See, I don't want to finish this and show you. I'll show you when we're all done. I should have put more tape down. Stop. Remove the hoop. You're done. And you see how that's a little bumpy over there? Because that's where the D-ring is at, and it's very thick there. Okay, remove all your tape. And you're going to trim this out so it's about 1/4 inch. And you're going to notch the corners, just like I've already showed you to do in other videos, but I'll show you again on here since my pocket video got cut short. And I'm going to admit I'm a little nervous because I can tell that I did not line this up well because there's more material on this side, but it should be okay. All right, I'm going to tear away this stabilizer. Oh my goodness, that dog is gone very unhappy. Somebody is out there. Hey, Bailey! Let me see if I can distract her to come up here and say hi. Bailey! Oh, I hear her coming. She's coming to see her mama. She's actually Grayson's dog now, my son. Oop, what was that? Door got stuck. Very carefully tear away your pocket because we don't want to tear the pocket open. And you could do that. All right, now unlike other in the hoop projects where you have to be really careful when you're trimming your extra material, usually your lining is here and you're going to turn it here, and so you're told to keep a little bit of a notch here. You don't need to worry about that with this one. We're just going to trim it all the way around. Got these new scissors, Westcott Titanium from Amazon Prime Day. Let's see how they handle this. So I'm going to leave about a 1/4 inch all the way around, and then I'm going to notch the corners. I'm really excited to get this to you guys. Hopefully by the time you're watching this video, it will have already sold, but I am going to have one more person check my instructions and make sure they make sense. Many people don't have bandwidth to watch YouTube videos, so I want the paper instructions to make sense as well. Now when you get to the side there where the D-ring is, and like I just went through the tab, it was really thick, so be careful. And this side is not too much because it was a little off kilter. Ah. You don't really need to see me cutting this, but I'm not going to be too impressed. These scissors are not doing a good job through all the bulk. I'm still on the ultimate bulky goods scissor search. I've tried a whole bunch of them and none of them are very good at this. Now, I'm going to get out these little Westcott ones. These do work really good for the notching. So again, we're going to go right here in the curves, and we're going to notch. You're going to go up to the seam allowance, the seam, but not through it. After all this work, you do not want to cut your bag open. It's just a few notches, which will help even out that corner. Same thing over here. Now I do curve the corners a little bit. I find, just my experience, I've only been doing this full-time for a year. Haha, full-time. I have a full-time job. I'm a software engineer. I've only been doing this embroidery gig for a year. Solid. I mean, I've been in the embroidery world here and there for years, but in my experience, as humble as it is, leaving the corners curved actually produces a more flat end and when you turn it. And I'm actually going to come in here. I can see this corner here from the pockets. The credit card pockets is really thick. I'm going to go ahead and pull out this tab and grade it, which just means I'm going to trim it down a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling away this fabric and I'm going to bend it back and trim out a little bit of that tab. And then I'm also going to trim out a little bit of the fabric from the credit card pocket slots. it's called grading, and then I'll just make it a little bit easier to turn, because that tab takes up a lot of space in there. That'll help offset it a little. Okay, back over here, notch. I really hope you guys can see this. I almost went too far. Okay, so there we go. Just notched all the little corners. Okay, now we're going to reach inside our zipper pocket. And you see we had the little tear in there. Go ahead and gently tear that. Reach your hand inside and open up the rest of the zipper. It's awkward, but you can do it. Okay, there we go. And then we're just going to start turning this. It's awkward, but it will turn. Oh, this promo is actually turning really nicely. I'm telling you what, the Naga hide that was a special, it was just awesome. You guys missed that video because I messed up again, but I was shocked at how nicely it turned, because it's a little bit thicker than this. And sneak peek or sneak tease, I'm gonna do some quilting designs so that you can do fabric. I'm going to make some patterns that I'll be specific for this wallet, and you guys will be able to do a quilted exterior instead. Now I want to show you something that happens. It looks like I monkeyed this up, right? Because the pocket's looking like it's on the exterior, but that's okay. That's how, when you're turning it, it happens to do that. It's not a big deal. You just flip it over to the other side like that. Oh, I'm really getting excited. I think everything is lined up now. Oh, I don't want to get too hopeful. Like I said, this is my 4th video trying to do this wallet, and it kept messing up everything. And I'm just, to be honest, I'm tired of the wallet now. I'm ready to move on to something else. Okay, well, I'm not going to push it really great. You guys can do that. This is not that difficult. The key is going to be, do we have room for our credit cards, and did I do everything right and line it up? All right, so when you're all done turning it and you got all your points being the nice neat way you want it, you're going to pull your pocket out. And remember, I messed mine up, but yours is going to be nicely folded down, and then you're going to just stitch it closed, either on your sewing machine by hand stitching or glue. Glue works. And then tuck it back in there. If you're using vinyl, you can press the bag or the wallet, but do it from the fabric side. All right, so here it all is. It's not totally pressed out, but it's close enough. Then we're going to fold it up and see if we did our tab right. We did! Yay! I'm so excited. Look at that. And now the D-ring is over here nicely. It's not in the middle. The way I had it, I don't have that sample right here, but I had it right here, and so then it was sticking out in the middle of the bag. All right, now the determining factor. Did we have enough room for our credit card? Yes. One side in, one side. Oh, and I actually found these other cards over here. That's more the right size. You can tell I haven't even done this yet. My scan and cut. I'm still using that. It's still in the plastic. Here's a gift card. There we go. And your business cards will fit here. I can't show you the iPhone because I'm on the iPhone, but there's room here. You can put your checkbook in this pocket or up in this pocket, and you can fit your mobile phone right there. And that's all. Then it flips over and it snaps closed. Or if you use the fold over elastic, you would just fold that over and close it, or likewise with the snap. So I hope you guys like this wallet. I think it's adorable. it'll look cuter once I press it. But it's a nice in the hoop project, and it was not that difficult. It seems like it's more difficult, but it's not. And you can actually, this is the zipper will go, so your credit cards will go that way. And this is a snug fit, so they won't fall out on you. Alrighty, hope you all like it. Thanks, bye-bye.